Welcome to The Explainer, brought to you by Forge College. Look, I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today because we are cracking open the engineering blueprint for remote code collaboration. You know, writing code locally is awesome, but when we're talking about building Solana smart contracts, where you are literally handling real assets, your local prototype has to plug flawlessly into the main machine. And that is exactly what this module of Advanced Git Techniques is all about. We're going to take those local version control skills you've already mastered, and we're pushing them out into the real high-stakes world. Let's get into it.
So, if you remember our last lesson, we tackled the great local debate, rebasing versus merging. But now your code is leaving the nest. All those super careful local decisions you made about your project's history are about to be exposed to your teammates. They are about to become a permanent, shared record on the remote assembly line. No pressure, right?
Here is today's schematic. We are going from local to remote, covering the push, fetch, and pull gears, running through the PR lifecycle, reviewing and refining, picking a merge strategy, and finally, protecting that shared history.
All right, phase 1, going from local to remote and preparing for the shared assembly line.
The biggest mindset shift here is just realizing that your local code is really just a prototype. It doesn't truly exist for the team until it's living securely on a shared remote server. To keep this whole line moving, you've got to know 3 essential gears. First up, origin. Origin is just the default name Git gives to the remote repository you cloned from. Simple. Then there's a fork. Now, obviously, we aren't talking silverware here. A fork is your own personal remote copy of someone else's project. This is absolutely brilliant for when you want to contribute to a major Web3 protocol, but you don't quite have the administrative keys to the kingdom yet. And finally, upstream. Upstream just refers to that original main repository that you created your fork from.
Moving on to phase 2, push, fetch, and pull. These are the commands that actually move the gears.
I like to think of these commands like a chief engineer's mailroom. It kind of makes it click. So git fetch, that is totally safe. It's literally just checking the mailbox to see what new letters have arrived from the remote server without actually opening anything. You're just looking. Git pull, on the other hand, is opening that mail and immediately organizing it onto your desk. It effectively merges or rebases the new stuff into your current workflow. And git push? Well, that's taking your polished, finished blueprint, sealing it in an envelope, and shipping it out to the rest of the world.
Which brings us to phase 3, the pull request lifecycle. This is your ultimate quality control checkpoint.
Once your code is shipped via that conveyor belt we just talked about, it takes this epic 5-step hero's journey. Step 1, you branch. Step 2, you push. Step 3, you open a draft pull request. Step 4, you address your peers' feedback. And Step 5, the grand finale, you merge. It's a whole life cycle, specifically designed to protect the main production line from, well, breaking. And let me tell you, master these 5 steps, and you're not just writing code anymore. You're communicating and collaborating like a true Forge College engineer.
I want to highlight the draft PR for a second because it is literally your best friend. Opening a draft is like hanging a blueprint on the wall and asking the room, hey, am I crazy for doing it this way before the ink even dries? It's a brilliant signal to your team that you want early eyes on your approach. Believe me, it saves you from pouring the concrete foundation only to realize your house is facing the completely wrong direction.
Phase 4, review and refine. Or, as I usually like to call it, surviving code review. All right, so when reviewers inevitably ask for fixes, and they will, the secret sauce is to make small atomic commits to seamlessly update your PR. But listen to me, hear this rule and live by it. Never ever use plain force push unless you actively want your teammates to hate you. Always use force with lease. If you absolutely need to rewrite your published branch history, force with lease is the ultimate safety net. Why? Because it strictly checks the remote branch first, preventing you from accidentally incinerating your teammates' concurrent updates. It's a lifesaver.
Moving right along to phase 5, choosing your merge strategy, the final join.
You survived the review. Awesome. And now you're ready to press that big green button. But here's the question. How do you want history to remember you? A standard merge commit preserves every single messy, beautiful detail of your branch, and it documents the exact moment of the join. A rebase and merge rewrites everything into a beautiful, completely straight linear timeline on the base branch. And squash and merge, that crushes all your iterative work, all those little fix commits, into one single glorious block. Honestly, just choose wisely based on whatever conventions your specific team follows.
And finally, phase 6, protecting the shared history. establishing the guardrails on the assembly line.
So you might be wondering, why so much meticulous structure? Well, like we said, in the Solana ecosystem, your smart contracts handle real assets, real money. Trust and transparency are everything. That's exactly why we use branch protection rules as automated factory guardrails. By mandating passing continuous integration tests, requiring strict peer approvals, and completely blocking any destructive force pushes to the main branch, we ensure one rogue commit can't accidentally drain a liquidity pool or break the entire factory line.
If you follow this blueprint, success, your commit is officially merged. The final artifact is this rock-solid pull request with a clean, deliberate history that your entire engineering team and, honestly, the broader open-source community can implicitly trust. That's an amazing feeling.
But wait, let me throw a wrench in the gears. What if your automated tests fail mid-push? Or what if your project manager is screaming for an urgent hotfix, but your local desk is covered in messy, completely uncommitted code? We've all been there, right? Well, we are going to tackle that exact chaos in our next explainer on Git hooks and stashing. It's going to be a good one. Until then, make sure you visit the website forge.college to dive deeper, practice these exact scenarios we talked about today, and really master your Web3 tools. I will see you next time.